Now, good evening and welcome to The Insight, your trusted space for deep political analysis, bold conversation, and citizen-centric discourse. I am Emmanuel Ouma, and tonight we're going to discuss an issue that is echoing and reverberating throughout the country, the political coalition of the opposition political parties. Are we witnessing a grand coalition in the making, given that most of the opposition politicians were in western part of the country for the better part of yesterday and today? And to help us discuss this issue will be Mr. Moses Nyanduga, who is the Secretary General of the People's Liberation Party Comrades Chapter. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Thank you, Senior.
And Mr. Hitler Abraham at the far right, the Chairperson, People's Liberation Party Comrades Chapter. Thank you so much for making time for us, Mr. Hitler. Now, to begin with you, Mr. Moses, what in your view necessitate this larger coalition? Is it a marriage of political convenience, or is there some kind of ideologies that is bringing these people together?
It's okay. Let me begin with a Nigerian proverb that says that when you see a rat running into the fire, then you must know that whatever is chasing the rat is hotter than the fire.
You like proverbs, huh?
Yes, I like that. You know. And the reason as to why I'm saying this is that the opposition party leaders have come to realize that President Ruto is again not a political joker. He has been transcending from the MP to the deputy president and now the president. And therefore, whatever necessitates this is that once you know the strength of your competitor, then you must prepare. They know very well that President Ruto is no longer just a political joker, but he has what it takes to lead the country and to run a successful presidential campaign. And again, too, it deals with interest. And again, you know, political ideologies is very much important. They're trying to unite, not to divide the vote, to ensure they clinch into the presidency come 2027.
But you realize that when Dr. Fred Matiang'i was speaking in Western, he said that the government's, the job the president cannot execute the job, that's why they're coming together.
Yes. That is why I'm talking about the interest of the people, because when the president has failed to execute his mandate of service delivery to the people, it therefore takes very bold and serious politicians to realize that and come together towards making Kenya great again. And that is why you see them having realized the need of the people, what the people want. They must now work together and again to prevent division, which we have experienced in the history of this country's political environment.
Mr. Hitler,
yes,
do we need an alternative leadership to the one that we have today?
exactly.
Why?
The reason why, for example, we need alternative, I can tell you as a fact that Kenyans are tired with whatever is happening currently. That is the reason why even you see the other day and even last year, June, the young generation come out in a large number to bring this nation to a standstill. The fact that, allow me to say that John F. Kennedy said in 1960 that a society whose young men and women are still in constant state of slumber will never realize our potential. It is the day they will wake up and show people in the position of authority that they have potential to transform this nation. So I think we need an alternative as a result that people are tired with the fact that there are several things happening in this regime currently which are making them to be more tired.
What are those things that are making people more tired?
Exactly. Allow me to say that. Yeah, allow me to give a relevant example is that when President Uhuru Kenyatta was campaigning, by the time he was the deputy president, he said that there will be no extrajudicial killing, there will be no torture. And I can tell you as a fact, those are exactly the things which are happening in his regime. And if people came out in a large number to condemn such kind of act, and he was the one who promised that there will be no extrajudicial killing, detention without trial, torture. And you see the other day, even the people which they have been abducting, torturing. For example, the case of Albert Ojwang, meaning the guy is contradicting himself. So if we decided that we don't want this regime, we are not just making a lot of noise that we don't want the regime, but as a fact that people are being abducted, tortured, detention without trial, meaning they are contradicting themselves. So we are tired with the regime. We need alternative.
But do you think that the opposition offers the best set of governance in contradiction to what we have today?
Exactly. What I believe is that I know that the coalition, These political parties, DCP, PLP, Wiper, DAP Kenya, are yet to form coalition for the next coming days. And the coalition they're going to form, they have not yet announced someone who will be there to contest in the position of the presidency. But I believe that they are going to endorse somebody whom Kenyans are going to elect him or her on the basis of characters, where I believe that the person they will produce, if we will consider their character traits, is a good person, where if we consider his character traits, Kenyans can come out in a large number to vote for such kind of person.
So who is the good person now? Because we have people like Dr. Fred Matiang'i, they have been in government. We have people like Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. We have people like Martha Karua, you know. Who can offer a credible, you know, surmountable kind of a fight to the current president?
I believe that all those people you have just counted, the truth of the matter is that they are not good people. They have failed the country in one or another way. But when it comes to matters of transformation or leadership, we know every leader has a limitation and some of his or her advantages. But now, when it comes to this case, we are looking for someone who is closer to God now. As much as they have failed Kenya in one way or another, I believe Dr. Fred Matiang'i, to begin with him, he can offer one of the good and best alternative. We can remember his time in the Ministry of Education. Under his regime in the ministry, severe exam malpractices were things of the past. When you have a look at someone like Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, he can form a good diplomat. And once he becomes the president, the Kenya's foreign and international policies can be of no question. We have people like Rigathi Gachagua, who is always a truthful man, a man of the people, love Kenyans, and even, you know, he called people each and every now cousins. So I believe we need someone who has a strong foundational root with the people, who understands the need of the people, who is ready to execute his mandate on the basis of the Constitution of Kenya and the general rule of law, who will listen to the people and do what we want. And I think for the position, if I was given the chance to choose people who can offer the best alternative, I'll settle for these three: Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Wangari Karua, and Dr. Fred Matiang'i.
Now, given the history of political coalitions in the country, we have seen them being formed and disintegrate immediately or after, sometimes after election. Now that we are witnessing some kind of a coming together of opposition politicians, ostensibly to form some kind of a formidable alliance to go against the president in the upcoming election. In your view, do you believe that that coalition will last so that it may even take, if for example, they win in the next coming election, will it not disintegrate like the one we witnessed with Jubilee and NASA or CORD and what have you?
Okay, allow me to address that directly by saying the following, that I believe that there are some coalition who do work and others don't work. Like when NAC was formed to evict or to remove the President Moi, it really worked. I believe that the coalition which is yet to be formed is going to work effectively, because these guys have come to realize that evicting President William Samoei Ruto on power, it is not just a matter of walking on the path alone. It is a matter of walking on the path plus doing 1, 2, 3. So if these guys are coming to form a coalition, they have a concrete plan. And that is the reason why they have not yet declared someone who will be there to run in that position of the presidency. So they are still consulting and trusting each other, because politics, anything can happen in politics. I can be here, for example, Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Wangari Maathai, and DCP, where we have Eugene Wamalwa. You will come to realize that wanaweza kuwa they can be with Kalonzo Musyoka, but you can come to realize that after forming coalition, this guy can betray them. So just like I've said moments ago, that in politics, everything can happen. I do believe that these guys are still consulting each others so that they focus to the aim, and the main aim to evict President William Samoei Ruto.
But now, given the history of the disintegration of political coalitions, and Kenyans don't tend to trust political coalition, because You make a coalition today, tomorrow it's not there. For example, Kenya Kwanza government, the falling out with Rigathi Gachagua and from the president, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, and he's falling out with the deputy. Do you think people trust these coalitions?
Yes. Currently, people trust Team Komboa Kenya.
What is that?
The opposition, because they're coming to liberate the people of the Republic of Kenya. And I'll say that the people will continue to trust them because they're fighting on the side of the people. You know, if you are a fighter on the side of the people, then come rain, come sunshine, people will trust you. And that is why you see them. Number two, they're coming and changing from the normal ethnic, tribal kingpins into now national figures. We have seen a situation whereby, for the said case, we see our political leaders from the opposition moving to Northeastern, Nyanza, every province of this country. That can tell you that the people of the Republic of Kenya already believes in them, and the fact that they're fighting on the side of the people and touring each and every province, every corner of the country, there's a very big assurance that they shall be trusted. And if they can have personal interest at the end of the day, then that will lead to a very great disintegration, and there shall be very many victims from the opposition side.
Mr. Abraham,
Yes.
you realize that for the past 2 days, the opposition have been camping in Western Kenya, and there is no kind of ideology that has come out. Whatever they are saying is, we want President Ruto out. So what is this driving force that makes them sure that they can help Kenya probably grow economically or socially or politically?
Okay, allow me to say that, yes, of course, they've been touring to any other part in this nation, including the one you have talked about moments ago, Western. I can tell you as a fact that the driving force which is driving these people is the issue of Gen Z. And I can tell you as a fact that Gen Zs are speaking one language, which even not president, but Ezekiel, Pastor Ezekiel, said 2023 very well that Gen Zs will speak a language which the president will not hear, or the ruling government will not hear the language they are speaking. So the driving force which is driving these guys politically is on the side of Gen Zs. And they believe that whether President William Ruto will win or not, he will go home. As a fact, people are tired with the things which are happening. You come to realize that the Gen Zs themselves, we can't even afford even 2 square meal. The cost of living, our shilling has stunk due to the fact that our economy has come to a standstill. So you come to realize that these are some of the things they talked about before. And we are tired with everything happening in this nation or this motherland. So I can tell you that this is the driving force is driving these guys, because they are seeing the Gen Zs are with them. You saw the other day when Albert Ojwang arrived in Nyanza. What happened? They said that Gachagua was sponsoring them. So is it true to say that Gachagua sponsored the Gen Zs from Nyanza? No. So it is just something which is happening that Gen Zs are tired. They need to transform this nation, to transform their motherland, and bring Kenya to a standstill, because we want a better Kenyan. Yes.
No, okay, I hear you. There are things to do with the younger generation coming out and making sure that, you know, their voices are heard and taken into consideration. But the government, should the government be wary about the united opposition?
Very much, because a united opposition means that Mount Kenya is gone, which voted highly for President William Ruto in 2022. Western, majority of them are also tired, and you can see this can be much evident by the young people who usually took it to the street during the Gen Z protest. Two, when you have a look at the Western Kenya, for example, you see the emergence of some of the kingpins now. You see people like Moses Wetangula and Mudavadi. Their supporters are there. We cannot downgrade that. But you see Natembea's influence is growing. Eugene Wamalwa's influence. And all these people have joined the united opposition on the other side. In the coastal region, you can also see some of the people who are trying to air out their voices and saying, we as Kenyans, we are very, very much tired. We need an alternative kind of leadership. Same to Northern Kenya, same to Nyanza. Even in Nyanza, it will be very much bad in Nyanza. Yes, I believe so. Because young people are now moving from the steps which have been taken by very old generation political leaders to now a new generation aspirant group. And once the united opposition is in place, then be rest assured that President William Ruto is going to be one-term president, as you can see young people saying outside here. And another fact, which is making this Kenya Kwanza government to worry much more about the united opposition is one. The opposition coalition is speaking the people's language in everything they're doing. When it comes to extrajudicial killing, they're saying no. This is, you guys never promised the people that you guys, once you take power, you'll do this. When it comes to food security, you saw Gachagua during his reign as the deputy president. He used to meet with farmers, coffee farmers, tea farmers, to ensure that Kenya achieves food security platform sector. When you have a look at the mining, they have a concrete plan. In other words, they're speaking the language of the people, learning their language, and they're on the side of the people. And this worries the Kenya Kwanza.
One of the things that Mr. Gachagua, His Excellency, the former deputy president, said that one of the agenda is to occur payslip, and hinted at doing away with the housing levy. And you realize that to do away with the housing levy, it needs another law, because it takes another law to do away with another law. Do you think that's a good idea, Mr. Abraham?
I think that one is a good idea. And allow me to say that when he said that he want to do out with housing levy, allow me to give a relevant example with the even affordable housing, whatever is happening in affordable housing. I think that whatever happened in affordable housing is a bad example or strategy which President William Ruto come up with. For you to do something which Kenyans can be convinced that you are doing it in a transparent way, you have to involve people on what you want to talk about. Even court itself, alikataa mambo ya housing.
No, but you realize it was given a green light, eh?
It was given a green light, yes. But
forced.
yeah, he forced it.
No,
So
it was not
you
forced.
come to realize that, first of all, we must have to understand this as a fact that is it us who don't understand even the meaning of affordable housing? Because if it is affordable housing, it is just by a word of mouth, but it's not affordable. You come to realize that we cannot even afford 3 square meal. Some people cannot even, some comrades, go to the agency, so people are in the higher learning institution, whether it is a college, university, or TVET, you come to realize that this guy cannot even afford 3 square meal, meaning he cannot even afford that amount of money he or she should pay for the rent or whatever. And you come to realize that these guys are coming to impose this thing on us, but a good number of Kenyans, they did not even consulted in a good manner. You come to realize that they're doing deduction on their salaries, the civil servant. When should they stop doing this? And they did this without your knowledge. So it is, according to me, it is a very bad crime. So they should go away with the issue of housing levy, according to me.
Now, you realize that politics is a matter of interest, and when your interest should always take precedence against the other. So who stands to lose or gain as far as this coalition of the opposition leaders is in the offing?
I believe we have 2 big losers as a result of a united opposition. And one is Right Honorable former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga is one of the losers. This is the reason. You know, these people have took the path which is traditionally meant for Raila Odinga. Raila has been a long soldier on the side of the people since 1980s. And now you can see a situation whereby Raila joined the government after handshake with President with President William Ruto, but nothing has changed. At the end of the day, in fact, the more he joins the government, the more we young people are still demanding for our rights and taking it to the streets to demand change. The next person who stands to lose is President William Ruto. Like I said earlier in my statement, a united opposition means some of the biggest shareholders when it comes to voters, when I generalize on the people who voted for President William Ruto, are left out now. The Mount Kenya, in fact, gave President William Ruto the highest score in 2022 they are now gone. I cannot say all of them, but a good percentage is gone. Western Kenya too gave President William Ruto a significant quality vote. It's now gone again, a good percentage of it. So you see a situation whereby both Raila and Ruto will fail as a result of a united opposition, whether they join hands or whether they part to different directions, because their roles have been changed by the opposition.
Okay, their roles have been changed. That is Mr. Moses Nyanduga. We still are having Mr. Abraham Hitler, both from the Comrades chapter of the People's Liberation Party. We're taking a quick commercial break. We'll be still here with my guest, and in the other part of this broadcast, we'll still be discussing the opposition coalition yonder. Stay with us.
Hello, kids. Did you know a year has 31,557,600 seconds? Why do you think so? Exactly. There are 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, and 365 and 25 days in a year. We count the extra 0.25 because of leap years. When you multiply all these numbers together, you get a huge number of seconds. That's why a year feels long, but time still flies when you are having fun.
Remove my skin and I won't cry, but you might. What am I? Are you still practicing art ukifanya your engineering? Umezimix ama umeenda tu fully on art? Sasa najua hebu kwanza tutajia because najua wezi taja wote. Just some of the people wenye, some of the celebs wenye umeweza ku reveal your art to them.
J Kroba bibi yake. Hiyo siku walifurahia mbaya. Na mimi nilikuwa emotional mbaya sana.
Lilia.
Go and check that video guys. Nililia mbaya.
I was seeing kuna place ulikuwa unasema like BN ndo alikusaidia sana in building your career. Unaweza tuambie hiyo moment when ilikuanga?
We
Hello, my name is Nyabio. I'm from Mahanim. Call this school a good school because the second my mom saw it, she saw it was Christian-based. And when I see Christian-based, that's what the character my mother wants from me. And I like the sports that we play for PE. Like sometimes we play table tennis, we can play football, we match, and on Fridays we have games. And we verse the teachers in football. And this is why I think this school is the best school your children can go to.
Everywhere, GBS.
Well, thank you so much for staying with GBS Television. This is the Insight Show. My name is Emmanuel Ouma. I'm still with my guest tonight, Mr. Moses Nyanduga, the Secretary General, People's Liberation Party, Comrades Chapter. Thank you so much for staying with us. And Mr. Hitler Abraham, the Chair, of the People's Liberation Party Comrades chapter. Thank you so much for staying with us, gentlemen. We are continuing with our conversation this evening, and the Kenya Kwanza government, has it responded positively towards this coalition coming together with the opposition leaders? Mr. Ebro?
No, they're not responding positively because they fear the kind of people who are within the coalition or the people who are yet to form the coalition. Just for example, Rigathi Gachagua, he's someone who is focused, brave enough, and a good mobilizer. When they were saying that when the former deputy president was being impeached, then after decided to form a coalition with these people, and they were saying that he's dividing Kenyans. And when Raila Odinga go and worked with the government and some of a few of his supporters, they were not seeing that as a way of dividing Kenyans. So these guys, they're seeing a positive contribution to the coalition because the people are within the coalition, Martha Karua, Rigathi Gachagua, Eugene Wamalwa, the likes of Natembeya, Matiang'i. These are the kind of people who I believe are sharing same ideology and they are focused and towards actually the aims of the coalition so that they achieve the best at the end of the day.
Now, the opposition energy has been growing, especially now that with the coming together of all those opposition leaders, the influence has been growing throughout the country and it has reverberated across the country. You realize that the Kenya Kwanza government is yet to respond or is responding, but are they responding positively or in a subtle manner?
The Kenya Kwanza government is responding very negatively towards the growing influence of the opposition. Because remember, opposition party is speaking on behalf of the people. When you see Rigathi Gachagua telling President Ruto to stop abductions, you saw him the other day, when he tells the Kenyan police that stop killing young people, that is our language. In fact, he's like the people's spokesperson. When he's saying, reduce the taxes, people are suffering, he is speaking our hearts and minds. And therefore, we do say that whether a watermelon falls on the knife or the knife falls on the watermelon, is still the watermelon which must suffer the consequences. Whether Kenya Kwanza government responds positively or negatively, they'll still suffer the consequences because they have lost touch with the people. And when you move in every, you know what's making these people even to wonder much more is one thing. For the first time in history since independence, we are seeing Kenyans just going to demonstrate without influence of key political figures. We are seeing young people taking it to the streets. And believe you me, Mr. Emmanuel,
yes,
come 2027, we shall see a situation whereby young people will even attend to polling stations several hours before election because they're tired, punda imechoka. And therefore, when you see the influence of opposition growing, let the government stop responding negatively towards it because they're speaking our language. When you see them saying, reduce taxes, Mr. President, they're speaking my language. When you see them, stop killing young people, they're speaking the language of our brother here. Those are our spokespersons. Yes.
Now you realize that there are a lot of things that, strategic decisions that must be taken as far as political activities are concerned. So what are some of the strategic mistakes that the coalition of political parties should avoid to make their presentation credible to the Republic?
Oh, I think I can tell you as a fact that we knew very well, and we know it as a fact, that our kingpin in Nyanza province, Raila Amolo Odinga, is a big betrayer. In case, because I believe he will betray William Samoei Ruto. He has betrayed very many Kenyans. A good relevant example is Dr. Miguna Miguna.
Now, just come to my question. What are some of the strategic mistakes that the opposition political parties should avoid moving forward to make their presentation credible to the Republic?
Okay, I think that, let me tell you that some of the mistakes they should avoid. Remember, according to me, there are some people in the coalition that I don't trust, according to me. Someone like Kalonzo Musyoka, I don't trust Kalonzo Musyoka that Kalonzo Musyoka cannot stand firm.
Why? Why don't you trust? Why don't you trust him?
Kalonzo Musyoka, according to even in history, historically, this is someone who cannot even stand firm. We have been seeing him betraying people like Raila Amolo Odinga. And allow me to give a relevant example with Dr. Fred Matiang'i, that people are saying because I'm the chairperson in PLP Comrades Charter, and I'm the general secretary of Team Think Tank in Nyanza province, and I come from Nyanza. Some people are saying they are ready to endorse Kalonzo, no, not Kalonzo, but this guy from Kisii, Matiang'i, to be the next president or the 6th. I can tell you as a fact that a good number of people are also saying, because in coming 2027 election, people will vote on the basis of characters and nothing else. They will check your record very well. Matiang'i has the scandal of Ribayala. He has a scandal when he said that Miguna Miguna is not a Kenyan. That was just politics. So when people will be checking records, there are some of the things they should consider. And there are some of the mistakes I can tell you as a fact. When they endorsed Fred Matiang'i to be the 6th, I believe that no one is clean like a cotton. But some of the things he did by the time he was in the former regime, some of Kenyans are not happy with these things. So according to me, if they endorse Fred Matiang'i to be the 6th, some people will decide not to vote. Like me here, I will decide not to vote.
Why?
Because I don't want William Samoei Ruto, and I don't want Matiang'i also. But no one is perfect. So let they endorse for us someone who have a clear record, someone like Maraga.
But you realize that voting is a constitutional duty for you.
But it is not a must. It is my choice. I decide to vote or not.
Yeah.
Yes.
But now that is that. According to you, Mr. Moses, what are some of the strategic mistakes that this coalition of political parties should avoid? Of the opposition?
I'll state 3. And one, I do respect and follow Mr. Gachagua. Mr. Gachagua should refrain from speaking on behalf of Mount Kenya citizens only. We've had times without numbers, Mr. Gachagua saying the government is not well conversant with the ideas of Mulima Kenya. I believe for the opposition to be a national framework to lead us into Canaan, after Raila failed to lead us to Canaan, then I believe Mr. Gachagua should refrain from that. This is the reason. When you tell us that, oh, Mulima Kenya, and all sorts of stories, other people from other parts of the country, how do they view this? They'll say, are you a leader for the national goal, or are you just representing Mount Kenya? Another strategic mistake they must not do is number 2, to include Raila Odinga in the opposition. Raila Odinga has numbers, yes, we cannot downgrade that. But the fact that Raila Odinga is much prone to handshake. You know, as a political party, you must prepare for pre- and post-election circumstances. We don't want a situation whereby Raila will come in, he appoints himself, or the committee appoints him as the leader of the opposition. Then at the end of the day, we'll go to election, even before the results. You know, he'll face the election, and some of the things he'll say during campaign is that, I'm ready to lose and I'm ready to win, and I'm let my supporters be well conversant with that. It is good. As a leader, you must be ready both to lose and to win. But the fact that Raila Odinga has been leading the opposition into government, constitutionally we must have a government and the opposition to keep the government on check and to stand by the people. And the last mistake they must not do is one, to choose a weak candidate to represent them. This is the reason. When we have a look at the opposition, we have strong key figures politically. People like Fred Matiang'i, Martha Karua, and former DP, Rigathi Gachagua. But should they make a mistake of endorsing someone who cannot confront even President William Ruto directly, tell him his mistakes, and demand for a better Kenya, then we shall all plunge into a deep.
Now, you see, as we were speaking earlier, you mentioned the issue about Gen Z and how the opposition coalition take them very seriously as far as moving their voices moving forward is concerned. What is this central role that the Gen Z will play in the election to the advantage of the opposition moving forward?
Okay, thank you. Allow me to say that this time around, because I can tell you as a fact that the young generation or the youths are the enemies of their own. And
Why?
this, you come to realize that, for example, now I'm the chair of PLP Community Theatre, and you come to realize that the Gen Zs or the young people, they don't have money, a good number of them, they are suffering. So you will come to realize that they believe on handouts, but youths need empowerment, not handout. So you will come to realize that if I don't have money and I lead a group of people, I will be given money and I betray the rest. That is the reason I have said that the Gen Zs are the enemies of their own. Allow me to address your question directly. The impact the Gen Zs will contribute towards the coalition. This time around, they are going to register as some of registered voters. These guys have not been voting, only a few of them. They've just been eclats and making a lot of noise. But I believe this time around, because they have IDs, they are going to come out in a large number to register as registered voters, and they will come out to vote for the expected candidate, so that because that coalition, which the opposition are yet to form, they will endorse the candidate the Gen Zs want. So the Gen Zs will mobilize their people to vote for the right candidate.
So what do you think should lead this coalition now? Because there's numerous factors at play here.
Yes, I believe I cannot dictate personally in my position
Or is it too early?
whoever will lead the coalition, but the only thing I can do is to recommend on the basis of character, on self-performance, etc. I have the three figures. Whether I know the opposition have, they do have no shortage of politicians in there.
That's true.
But I'll be better, or the situation will remain better, if either Dr. Fred Matiang'i, Martha Wangari Karua, or Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka will lead the opposition. However, on the side of Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, then he should be deputized by a very thorough, strong man. Yeah, as a leader, if they choose Kalonzo to lead the opposition team, then the deputy should be someone who is 10 times stronger than Kalonzo. Yes.
No, that is good. No, you did bring the name of Mr. Raila here. Mr. Raila has been known as the glue of the opposition. He has been synonymous with the protests and riots day after day. Currently, we have seen a new generation of people coming up, rioting, demanding their rights. Do you believe that Raila is still the face of that resistance in the country, or is his role fading away?
No, I think that this is just a new generation with good ideology. They have strong social economic philosophy, and a good number of them share same ideology, social economic philosophy. I think that people do fall, whether you were strong enough politically, socially, economically, people do fall. I think that Raila is aged enough, but I can tell that the popularity, he still have the supporters, yes, but not, if you compare Raila Odinga now and Raila Odinga in 1998, there's a difference. Now he can't campaign the way he was campaigning in 1998. So I can tell you as a fact that even the young people have realized, or the young generation have realized that Raila Odinga is a betrayer. He have been directing people to a wrong direction. Where I can tell you as a fact that if they have identified this.
But you say that there were crocodiles in River Jordan.
Even if there are crocodiles in River Jordan, but now you remember, I usually tell people that this generation is not that generation before this. This is Gen Zs. And even the generation yet to be born, the Gen Beta, because we have Gen Alpha now, will be worse than even the Gen Z. So I can tell you as a fact, Raila Odinga has support, yes, but not compared to the support he had before. Just like if I can give a relevant example, Nyanza, roughly the registered voters, they usually be 6.3 million plus, just roughly. But Matiang'i have gone with Gusii, and Gusii is roughly 2.1 million. Raila have remained with roughly 4.3 or 3 point. And 3 point in Nyanza doesn't mean all these guys are his supporters. Yeah. I'm one among them who is not supporting Raila Odinga.
Yes.
Just like any other people. So the support he had before, because before I was supporting him, but due to some of the things I've been seeing he doing, betrayal and 1, 2, 3, have made me not to support him.
Now, you see the opposition has always been speaking that they are going to sit down and support one person and bring that to the people. Do you believe that the opposition has the wherewithal of fielding a candidate who resonates with the youth, with the Generation Alpha and the millennials and the boomers.
Yes, true. You know, the good thing with the current opposition is that we are fighting on the same front. Our needs, or whatever we took to the street to demand for, are the same things they are fighting for. A friend of your enemy is your enemy, of course. Now, when we have two different enemies, then they must now work together. When we have, if the Gen Zs are the enemies of Kenya Kwanza, the opposition are also the enemies of Kenya Kwanza, then the Gen Z and the opposition now must work together to achieve what they want. And to add on that, what we want, you'll realize the Gen Z manifesto resonates with the opposition manifesto. And if the Gen Z want to win, the opposition want to win, the first mistake, again, which the opposition must never do if they want to win this thing using Gen Z, is that let them allow Gen Z to contest for MCA and MPs, as well as senators. Remember, leadership works on guidelines and policies. Like for now, we cannot wake up in the morning and as a student you say that let the government squash all the HELB loans, you know, especially for those loan defaulters. Everything works on our policies. As young people, once we contest, once we go to the county assemblies, once we go to the parliament or the senate, we'll regulate now the governance criteria on the basis of the policies we'll be forming in the parliament. So I believe the opposition party must never make the mistake of again betraying the Gen Z. We have seen this kind of betrayal in the Kenya's political landscape, especially in 2017, when the people were on the side of NASA. People fought really hard. Raila was sworn in. All of a sudden, we saw Raila with President Uhuru Kenyatta. When he was joining President Uhuru Kenyatta, the people who had died in Kisumu had not been freed. The people who were arrested in Nairobi, and still some of them were even nursing wounds, had not been compensated. So we don't want a situation whereby a few weeks from now we shall see some of the opposition kingpins or key figures joining President Ruto. If they do that, then we'll say now, Ruto is one term, Gachagua also half term, all of them we shall be given, and all of them should go. We shall say that.
Yeah. One term, half term. And so what are some of the policies that should be taken into consideration by the opposition so that they can harness the potential of the youth to probably propel them to the presidency?
One of the policies, I think, allow me to talk about betrayal, because I've been hearing the discussions revolving around betrayal and 1, 2, 3. I think one of the policies that they should focus on is one of them is betrayal. And betrayal is something...
Betrayal is not a policy.
But yes, it is not a policy, but allow me to bring in this aspect so that you can understand it. You will come to realize that we have the supporters of even Kalonzo Musyoka, the supporters of Fred Matiang'i, and all these guys were yet to be in the same coalition. And if I'm in the forefront, or Kalonzo will be in the forefront, meaning he has some people following him. So you will come to realize that he can talk with some of his supporters chini ya maji, so that when time for election comes, or when push comes to shove, they should vote the opposite, because he might cross, because we believe so. Because as I said moments ago, I don't trust him. So one of the policies which they should make here, they should be terms and conditions. If you betray the coalition, there are terms and conditions. Which, for example, wakieka, if you betray the coalition, they should do for you this, this, and this. And believe if they put that policy, it will keep some of them on toes, like Eugene Wamalwa, Kalonzo Musyoka, because some of them are very coward. They can't stand firm with these guys.
But now, what are the policies? What are these, law-making policies that they should consider so that they harness not only the power of the youth, but also their votes together moving forward? Because more often than not, if you don't have a sound policy, you lose. And each and every politician wants to win. Yes. So you need to incorporate policies that will propel you to the next level. So what are some of these policies?
Okay, policy number one I can talk about is that they should not just stop singing one term. It depends with the tone the supporters, including these guys, are using. But one of the policies which they should put across, let they call their supporters out to come out in a large number, to go and register as registered voters, so that they vote to the person they will endorse to go and contest as the presidency.
That's taken. What are some of the policies that they should consider?
Yes, good. I'll divide these policies into two. Pre and post-election policies. Let me start with the pre-election policies. At a time like this, these parties should have two strong policies. Number one, the public opinion must never be frustrated in any decision they are making. And these should act very, very firmly when they're settling on a candidate, you know, to represent them for presidential election. They must choose someone who reflects the need of the people. You cannot tell us if the people want Rigathi Gachagua to be the flag bearer, or Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, or Martha Karua, then you'll bring Professor Mukisa Kitui. People will condemn that. The second policy, which is pre, they should carry out free, fair, verifiable nominations. You know, we do have a problem with nomination for political parties, whereby you find someone wants to be a governor, he'll give you 50 million. If you're the party leader, then he'll be given free ticket. We as young people, we want a situation whereby if I want to be an MP or an MCA, I should face the ballot for nomination. Should I win the nomination, let me be given the party nomination. And if I lose, let me lose and support the candidate. But I don't want a situation whereby I win the nomination, then you take it and give it to someone who has money to give you. The best thing I'll do, you rally comrades and Kenyan youth to condemn that. Now, the post-election policies is one. We must ensure that we continue with the need of the people. If the people need food, let's have a policy which will be passed through an act of parliament to ensure Kenya becomes a food secure. By doing what? Reducing taxes on farm inputs, by ensuring that intercontinental trade is again improved. Remember, one of the limitations we face as African countries is that you find it very easy as Kenyans to even trade with the UK, but we find it difficult to trade with our neighbors, which is Uganda. We do have some of the trade tariffs and customs, we must do away with them. Another one, they should do a policy on housing levy. We need it to be scrapped. President Uhuru Kenyatta never asked Kenyans for money for him to develop the so-called affordable housing. He used it. So through the Bunge, we as young people, I will be a candidate during that time, and I believe my brother too will be a candidate. Once we enter there are some of the policies. Governors deal with policies, and those are the law.
Okay, Mr. Abraham, as you give us your parting shot, I want you to weigh in on this. Why should Kenya be on a perpetual election mode every day, every year?
Come on.
As you give me your parting shot, I will want you to weigh in on this. Why should we be on a perpetual electioneering mood every year? Election mood, campaigns, and what have you?
Okay, I think that, allow me to say that there are several things we need to do, where I can tell you that there are things which, if I'm elected to serve people in different offices as servant rather than masters, I should do so. Just like we know it very well that there's a distinction between a political leader and a politician. So you will come to realize that if I'm elected to serve people as servant rather than masters in different offices, and I'm serving my interest, and I'm a servant, I believe I'm telling people that I'm a servant of the people, but I'm not serving their interest, you will come to realize that people will be tired with me. And most of the time, you will just hear people saying, win the election, even to be held tomorrow but one. So you will come to realize that if I was elected to serve people as servant rather than masters, and I had the concrete manifesto, which I campaigned by telling people that I will do this, I will do this. But when push comes to shove, I'm doing the exactly opposite. You will come to realize that I will make Kenyans on a mood that they want to go and vote me out. But if I'm doing exactly what I told them during campaign or the manifesto I laid out to them, they will even forget about election, and they will be in a position to say that you can even go past that. Yes.
Now, Mr. Moses, as you give us your parting shot, can you weigh in on why should Kenyans be on a perpetual mood of electioneering, each and every day campaigns and whatever? Should we get time for development and
Yes,
like that?
you know, as a leader, you must leave your imprints.
Under 1 minute, please.
Yes, you must leave your imprints as time slips back into history. I think the failure in the Kenya's political system is one. We are on political mood each and every year because these people have failed to deliver what they promised. You know, if you ensure you streamline the agriculture sector, education sector, health sector, and you also improve the transport sector, I won't need to politic each and every year. But we do politic and demonstrate every year because they have failed to deliver. So, in my conclusion, I believe if the Kenyan political leaders want us to have a time for them for development or to give them a nice place to rest, then let them deliver. So that if you told us, nikiweka Biblia chini, police will never kill people, we need that to be exact. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moses Nyanduga, who is the Secretary General of the People's Liberation Party Comrades Chapter. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And Mr. Hitler Abraham, Chair, People's Liberation Party Comrades Chapter. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Well, and my name is Emmanuel Ouma, and that has been The Insight. The conversation does not stop here in our social media platform at GBS TV, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Make sure that you make a date with us. Good evening.
Everywhere, GBS.